तव कथामृतम् तप्तजीवनम् कविभिरीडितम् कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलम् श्रीमदाततम् भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः।
ॐ तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जना. We are studying the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna and the conversations of 3rd August 1884, Sunday. And the heading is Festival at Others' House, but as yet Sri Ramakrishna is in Dakshineshwar and bowl devotees from Shivpur have arrived and several devotees from Bhavanipur. Balaram and M were in the room. Rakhal, Latu and Harish were then living with the master. They too were present. Master began the conversation by addressing the bowl musicians from Shivpur. And there he is telling that yoga is not possible unless bhoga is given up. And he describes the Shat Chakras and tells that when all of them are crossed, then only the full knowledge comes. And then the Jnanis, the Vijnanis, all their states, he explained. Hanuman's example he gave. Then Paramahamsas believing in Nirakar, they feel satisfied when they attain God. But Paramahamsas who believe in Sakar also, they after realization keep some ego and to teach others. Gopis are Vrindavan, attained the knowledge of Brahman, but they were not seeking it. They wanted to enjoy God, looking on themselves as his mother, friend, handmaid or lover, and yet they realized God because of their love. The bowls from Shivpur began to sing to the accompaniment of a stringed instrument. Master, to the devotees, it is the attitude of a beginner to worship God out of fear. They sang, "We are sinners, redeem us, O merciful Lord." That is not the normal with the bowls. Thakur did not like it. To Rakhal, how well they sang that song the other day at Navin Yogi's house. So he remembers something which was much better. Be drunk, O mind, be drunk with the wine of heavenly bliss. That is normal bowl song. While singing religious songs, one should not constantly refer to one's worries. One should rather feel joyous and ecstatic as one chants God's name. Hearing all this, one devotee asked to Thakur, "Will you not please sing?" He said, "Well, I will sing when the mood comes, when the spirit moves me." So I'm under the Chetan. After a few minutes, the master began to sing. And he is singing of great love of Thakur, of God. And he goes into Samadhi and talks with the mother herself. Please come down, he is telling. I want to enjoy in the company of these devotees. Then he is talking to mother. Everybody's future is determined by the tendencies of his previous birth. What shall I say to these people? Nothing can be achieved without discrimination and renunciation. This is what he wants to tell those people. Sri Ramakrishna had now regained full consciousness of the world and he continued. There are many kinds of renunciation. One of them may be called Markata Vairagya, monkey renunciation. It is a false renunciation stimulated by the afflictions of the world. That renunciation doesn't last long. Then there is real renunciation. A man with everything in the world, lacking nothing, feels all to be unreal due to inner evolution. It is not possible to acquire renunciation all at once. From here now, a practical instruction he is giving. The time factor must be taken into account. That means there is a definite process for it, it takes time. But it is also true that a man should hear about it. So again and again hearing, Shravan, about nature of Brahman, about renunciation. When the right time comes, so this will have the effect. He will say to himself, oh yes, I heard about this. So the result of that Shravan will be renunciation. You must also remember another thing. By constantly hearing about renunciation, one's desire for worldly objects gradually wears away. Constantly hearing gradually wears away. That is the time factor he told. An example he used, one should take rice water in small doses to get rid of the intoxication of liquor. If there is intoxication of liquor, you cannot simply drink rice water because that is the answer. But if you suddenly take so much, it will not work. So you have to sip a little, again a little, again a little. In that way, if you hear again and again, then gradually that intoxication of the liquor will go away, intoxication of woman and gold will go away, and you will get real renunciation. Then one gradually becomes normal. Up to this point, we had read yesterday, an aspirant entitled to the knowledge of God is very rare. From thousands, somebody aspires to become perfect. It is said in the Gita that one in thousands desires to know God. And again, that among thousands who have such a desire, only one is able to know Him. The second line, does it show any chance or luck or partiality of God? No. He follows the right method. People do not go to Shastras or to a real Guru. So their struggle does not succeed. He has struggled. He has got the Karma Yoga purity. But further path must be guided by a Guru, guided by the scriptures, and people generally do not. That is why from those also, one in a thousand gains God. Such a thousands who have such a desire, only one is able to know Him. A devotee quoted the text from the Gita. Manushanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschid mam vetti tattvata. Thakur has accepted that he himself had said that. So he proceeds, Master, As your attachment to the world diminishes, your spiritual knowledge will increase. So, both ways. When this goes down, that comes up. Attachment to the world means attachment to woman and God. Enjoyment and means of enjoyment. Attachment to that. That means the attachment to world. When that goes down, the spiritual awakening will rise. It is not given to everybody to feel prema, ecstatic love of God. So, this is not ordinary prema. Without love of God, we cannot proceed. So, the technical term one should understand. When Thakur says prema everybody cannot attain, he does not say that nobody can love God. Without love of God, how can he proceed? Thakur has told again and again. So, that is called one who has realized he only can comment upon the Vedas. So, Thakur's words have to be understood. This prema or love is not that love which makes a mind rise. No. It is that prema which is the culmination. And so, everybody cannot do that. Chaitanya experienced it. This we have observed several times that when Thakur talks of prema, he definitely talks of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In the Vaishnava scriptures, it is said Radha experienced that prema, and next Chaitanya experienced that prema. And the third example is Thakur himself. So that is a very, very high state. An ordinary man can at the most experience bhava. So, bhava is that intoxication by love. So, one starts love of God, vairagya, then ritualistic worship, then he comes to raganuga bhakti, and there he experiences the bhav. That means a relationship with God. And that relationship with God to experience, not talk about or not only believe, not only have faith or attitude, but to experience that relationship is called bhava. So, if bhava comes, Thakur tells he is mukta. Because if by loving relation I am associated with God, then what else do I want? I do not want mukti. That pull itself will make me mukta. So, this terminology one has to understand. Bhav Samadhi. It is called Samadhi because in that relation, he forgets the world. Only God and he and the relation. So it is called Bhava Samadhi. And that is enough for a man to get mukti. And this you have seen repeatedly. This is something original with Sri Ramakrishna. In the Shankarites Vedanta, we do not find this. One becomes mukta only when one realizes the nirguna aspect of Brahman. But Thakur is very clear, again and again, yes. So, we need not worry that we did not get prema. Only 3 people got prema. So, should we catch our head? Oh, we are not getting prema. So, Thakur is clearly showing everybody does not get prema. We add, everybody does not require to get that prema. As Thakur has told about himself, I have done 16 annas. He tells his own disciples, if you can do 1 anna, it is sufficient. For ordinary jiva, we should say even 1 paisa is sufficient. Sufficient means to get mukti. So in that way, we should understand this. An ordinary man can at the most experience bhava. Only the Ishwar kotis, such as divine incarnations, experience prema. Clear? Such as incarnations only experience prema. So one does not require to become incarnation to realize God. One is a jiva. When prema is awakened, the devotee not only feels the world to be unreal, but forgets even the body, which everyone loves so intensely. So this prema is on the way, on the process. When one touches that prema, one forgets the world and one forgets one's own body, which is so dear otherwise. In a Persian book, it is said, that is Sufi's book, huh? Inside the skin is the flesh. Inside the flesh, the bone. Inside the bone, the marrow, and so on. But that prema is the innermost of all. So it is God only. God only can experience that. Swami Vivekananda has defined Sa Ishvara Anirvachaniya Prema Swarupa. So, innermost is that prema. That means when the consciousness of gross body, subtle body is given up, transcended, then only that prema comes. One becomes soft and tender through prema. This prema is on the way. On account of this prema, Krishna became Tribhanga. Krishna is always imagined bent in three places, knees and waist and shoulders, neck. So, because of prema, now this prema will have two meanings. The gopis or Radha's prema for him and his prema for Radha or gopis or the world. So, in this way, he became Trivanga. Prema is the rope by which you can tether God, as it were. This is the highest prema. When the highest, so Thakur is talking of the prema which realizes God, prema which God has for us, prema which is with the incarnations, prema is with the sadhak who is going to realize God. That is the vyapti. So when that high prema comes, you have caught God. By a rope you have tied him. That means Bhakta has become the magnet. God is being pulled towards him. And God will obey that Bhakta. Such examples are present everywhere in India at least. I remember one incident. In Maharashtra, there was a householder saint, Ekanath. And there the deity is Vithoba of Pandharpur. Now, some bhakta went to Pandharpur and there he did not find the living Vithoba. And he got a vision or some command that my name is so and so in Eknath's house. I am drawing water by that Kavandi. So they came to Eknath's house and they met God himself. And they asked, is you so and so? He understood that now people will catch me here. He said, go to the temple. And he went away. That is the story. Eknath came to know that God is working as a servant in my house. So that love tethers God. Arjuna, because of Arjuna's love, God accepted to become a charioteer. That is not a high position. So these are the examples. The examples do exist. What happens? Have you taken tea? Okay. So this prema as a range. Avtaras prema, devotee's prema, when it reaches that, God becomes his servant. Whenever you want to see him, you are merely to pull the rope. Whenever you call him, he will appear before you. Whenever you call him, he will appear before you. So, Bhakta has already realized God and he has got God. Blessed state, and as Thakur has told, does not require you to become a sannyasi there. Eknath was a householder devotee, and it is well known in Maharashtra that God served as a waterman in his house. The mature stage of bhakti is bhava. So he is now defining bhava. Bhakti, love of God. Vaidhi bhakti, ritualistic worship. Raganuga worship. So that is the mature form, that is bhava. When one attains it, one remains speechless. It is samadhi, experience of God, thinking of Satchidananda. So that Thakur always tells this Sagun Brahma is not different from Nirguna Brahma, Satchidananda. The feeling of an ordinary man can go only that far. Ordinary man means not an ordinary man, but who is not incarnation. That's all. Radha, he is not Chaitanya or Radha or Thakur or incarnations. That is called ordinary man here. Ordinary sadhak. Ordinary does not mean ordinary here, but not that high. When bhava ripens, it becomes mahabhava. So these are the Vaishnava descriptions. Mahabhava means the combination of four inner bhavas, relationship. Shanta is not taken there. Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhur. Madhur bhava includes all. So all the four have 19 expressions. Dasya has 4, other 3, 5 each. And this, when there are 19 expressions, then that is called Mahabhava. Bhava ripens into, it becomes Mahabhava. Prema is the last. So we understood that Bhava will give you mukti, but if you are strong enough, loving enough, Mahabhava and Prema. So we understand that Mahabhava and Prema both belong to Radha, Chaitanya, Thakur or incarnations. You know the difference between a green mango and a ripe mango? So this example, he says that Jiva may be like green mango, but that very thing when ripens in the case of an avatar, then that is ripe mango. Shall we indulge a little in language? The English word mango The Sanskrit word is Amra. Marathi call it Amba. Hindi, Bengali, Am. Tamilians, Mam. And Mam has two forms, Ra and Rai. Mam Kai. Kai becomes Gai, Mangai. And Mam Balam. Balam becomes Balam. Now, the English people, there is no mango outside the Indian subcontinent. No. They have tried, they have failed. So, English people found this fruit only in Tamil Nadu first. And Tamil Nadu, generally, they will say mangai. That mangai, English people made mango. A little philology. Unalloyed love of God is the essential thing. All else is unreal. Again, he has come to that real and unreal. Whether you are a bhakta, whether you have bhava or whether anything, world is unreal, God is real, is not missing from Thakur's teaching anywhere. Once Rama was pleased with the prayer of Narada and told him to ask for a boon. This perhaps from Adhyatma Ramayana, and Thakur patently gives this example. Narada prayed for pure love and said further, O Rama, please grant that I may not be deluded by the world bewitching Maya. Rama said, that is all right, but ask for something else. Narada replied, I don't want anything else. So not wanting anything else is the real wanting of that thing. I pray only for pure love. Thakur is inspiring those Shivpur Baul Bhaktas. How can a devotee attain such love? First, the company of holy men. Now he comes to the means of attaining that. The company of holy men, that awakens Shraddha, faith in God. Because the sadhus, sannyasis, they depend totally on God. So seeing them, the faith arises that man can live with only reliance on God. Then comes nishtha, single-minded devotion to the ideal. So mind seeks this ideal, that ideal, but nishtha comes, mind sticks to one form of God. In that stage, the devotee does not like to hear anything but talk about God. That is nishtha. He performs only those acts that please God. After nishtha comes bhakti, devotion to God. So different terminologies. Then comes bhava. So he brings up to bhava every time to show that the ordinary jiva need not go beyond that. Next, mahabhava, then prema, and last of all. So after prema also he is telling something, na, the attainment of God himself. So identification with God is called the attainment of God. That comes in the last. Only for Ishwar Kotis such as the incarnations is it possible to have Mahabhav or Prema, both. So he has made it clear, repeated the order several times, and the sadhana is sadhu sangha, faith, devotion, hearing about God, then bhav. The knowledge of a worldly person, the knowledge of a devotee, and the knowledge of an incarnation are by no means of the same degree. This is another important tenet in Sri Ramakrishna. In Vedanta or in Shankar Bhashya, we do not get this difference of manifestation. And that is clearly stated by Thakur. So, for example, light is light, no darkness. Electric bulb may be of 10 watts, may be of 1,000 watts. So, light is light, not darkness. But the power is so much more. That is the difference Thakur is telling. The knowledge of a worldly person, the knowledge of a devotee, and the knowledge of an incarnation are by no means of the same degree. The knowledge of a worldly person is like the light of an oil lamp which shows only the inside of a room. With him, with the world, what happens? Through such knowledge, he eats and drinks, attends to household duties, protects his body, bringing up his children, and so on. So, this knowledge is only limited to the world, in the room. The knowledge of a devotee is like the light of the moon reflected, which illumines objects both inside and outside a room. But such light does not enable him to see a distant or a very minute object. Minute object or distant object you cannot see in the moonlight. Wonderful similes, wonderful. The knowledge of an incarnation of God is like the light of the sun. Through that light, incarnation sees everything inside and outside, big and small. So, Sarvajnata is the incarnations. The mind of a worldly person is no doubt like muddy water, but it can be made clear by a purifying agent. So, starting from the worldly person, it can be made pure. Discrimination and renunciation are the purifying agent. Come back. Vivek, Vairagya. That purifies the mind. The master spoke to the devotees from Shivpur. So he is talking in general, but meaning them. He is asking them to ask questions. That is why Shivpur is mentioned now. Master, have you any questions to ask? A devotee, we have listened to your words. Now, a man who is struggling, questions come to his mind. And so Thakur is asking them to ask questions. And Thakur can answer all the questions. But they seem to be satisfied by what they have heard. No, this is not bad. So Thakur says, yes, it is good to listen to these things. But nothing will happen except at the right time. So listening is very good, but it will work inside. Discrimination, dispassion, and bhakti will take, as a process, will take time. What can quinine do for a fever patient when he runs a high temperature? Those days, malaria was very prevalent in Bengal, and quinine was the only medicine. But it is not administered when the temperature is very high. When the temperature subsides a little by itself, then quinine works. So Thakur knows those things. Only when his temperature comes down through the use of fever mixture or a purgative should quinine be prescribed. So the first attempt is to bring down the temperature. Now, fever mixture like crocin, paracetamol these days just reduce the fever. Or he says purgative. If purgative is given, in those days Maxelf was a common purgative. Maxelf is given, you will have abundant motion. That will reduce the fever. So Thakur knows all these allopathic things also. Then quinine should be prescribed. There are patients who get rid of their fever even without quinine. That means it may not be malaria, or if the temperature is bring down, it may not go up. All these things. We find generally feverishness, take paracetamol. It may cure. You do not require antibiotic. A child said to his mother, his patent example, when he was put to bed, "Mother, please wake me up when I feel the call of nature." The mother said, "My child, I shall not have to wake you. The urge itself will wake you." Different kinds of people come here. Some come by boat with the devotees, but they do not enjoy spiritual talk. Different types of people come. Devotees are coming by boat, so some people come with them. But they are not devotees, they don't like the spiritual talk. They keep nudging their friends and whispering, "When shall we leave here? When are we going?" If the friends show no sign of getting up, they say, "We would rather wait for you in the boat." So they do not like. Practical life, Thakur sees in and through. Those who have a human body for the first time, relatively, need the experience of sense enjoyment. So, undeveloped human, spiritual consciousness is not awakened unless certain duties have been performed. So, Manushya's first level is duties, elementary level. First born means he has not practiced sadhana before. So he requires to undergo some enjoyments, some duties. Wonderful spiritual analysis. The master was going to the pine grove. So here, the conversations get a break here. Pine grove, Kasurina grove for answering calls of nature. With a smile, he said to him on the semicircular porch, "Well, what do you think of my state of mind?" He wants people to analyze and understand. M smiling. On the surface, you are very simple, but inwardly, very deep. It is extremely difficult to understand you because the depth you cannot reach. Master smiling. True. So, Master's M's reading is correct. It is like the cement floor of a house. Acha, cement had come in Thakur's time. People see only the outer surface and do not know how many materials there are under it. Cement concrete. It was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So whatever Thakur has seen, it becomes an example. It was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Balaram and several other devotees got into a country boat to return to Calcutta. Country boat means not steam launch. It was ebb tide in the Ganges. We have explained it sometimes. In the ocean, there is ebb and tide due to moon's attraction on the water. Purnima, Amavasya, maximum. Now, when that tide comes, Ganges water is flowing down, but that tide rides above that water and comes this side. And then the whole Ganges water goes back. That is called the tide. And then the normal water flowing down is called the ebb. So it was ebb tide in the Ganges. Ebb tide means ebb actually. A gentle breeze was blowing from the south, covering the bosom of the sacred river with ripples. M looked at the scene. M is poetic always, huh? A long time. As the boat disappeared in the direction of Calcutta, he came back to the master. So Balram went, M stood on the bank, saw, and now he came to the master. Sri Ramakrishna was going to the pine grove. This is second time, huh? A beautiful dark rain cloud was to be seen in the northwest. The master asked them, "Do you think it will rain? Please bring my umbrella." M brought the umbrella. Reaching the Panchavati, the master said to Latu, who also accompanied him, "Why do you look so sickly?" Latu, "I can hardly eat anything." Master, "Is that the only reason? It is also a bad time of the year. August, huh? Rainy season. Are you meditating too much? To M, I have a request to make of you. Please tell Baburam to stay with me because Latu is not able to attend now. A day or two during Rakhal's absence. Rakhal Maharaj is not present there. Otherwise, I shall feel very unhappy. Rakhal will be absent, then they should be present. M, yes, sir, I shall tell him. Sri Ramakrishna asked him whether he thought that Baburam was guileless. Important thing he asked him again and again. Presently, the master left them, going to the direction of the pine trees. After a few minutes, M and Latu, standing in the Panchavati, saw the master coming back toward them. Behind him, the sky was black with the rain cloud. Its reflection in the Ganges made the water darker. The disciples felt that the master was God incarnate, a divine child, 5 years old, radiant with the smile of innocence and purity. Around him were the sacred trees of the Panchavati, under which he had practiced spiritual discipline. and had beheld visions of God. At his feet flowed the sacred river Ganges, at his feet, the destroyer of man's sins. The presence of the God-man changed the trees, shrubs, flowers, plants, and temples with spiritual fervor and divine joy. So that much power is in incarnation, spiritual, that because of it the whole nature attains spirituality. Sri Ramakrishna returned to his room and sat on the small couch. He began to praise a medicine that a certain brahmachari had prepared for him. Referring to this man, Hazara said, he is now entangled in many worldly anxieties. What a shame. Look at Naveen Chaitanya of Konnagar, though a householder, he has put on a red cloth. Hazara is not like that. Master, what shall I say? I clearly see that it is God Himself who has assumed all these human forms. Therefore, I cannot take anybody to task. Hazara wants Sri Ramakrishna to scold him. Thakur said, no, all are God, I cannot scold him. Hazara. Narendra is again involved in a lawsuit. After his father's death, his distant relatives, they made a lawsuit, not Narendra. By that lawsuit, they wanted to capture the best part of the house. And so Narendra had to fight for his mother and brother's sake. So Hazara is pointing out that Master, he doesn't believe in Shakti, the Divine Mother. If one assumes a human body, one must recognize her. So Thakur finds a spiritual point for worldly difficulties. If God is real and the world is unreal, these difficulties in the world will arise. But if God has created the world, though unreal, if one believes in this, puts the mind in this mode, then that power of God will help him to ride over our worldly problems. It's an important point when you find that some people always undergoing troubles, immediately it comes to the mind they do not believe in mother as much as they believe in Thakur. It is important to believe in Shakti. Achinta Kumar Sen wrote Thakur's life in poetry. And when the beginning portion reached Vivekananda, he said, book is beautiful, but there is a big defect. Tell Achintya to correct it in the next edition. There is no praise of Shakti in the beginning. So along with praise of Brahman, there should be praise of Shakti. Along with Thakur, Sarada Devi has to be praised. So it's a great doctrine or truth for all to understand. When they are in difficulties, some used to say, when my health is all right, so, and when there is any problem, mother. So this faith in mother is absolutely essential for ordinary life. Spiritual problems will turn into financial or health or other difficulties. This solution is very important that one should have faith in Shakti as much as faith in Brahman. If one assumes a human body, one must recognize her. We are in body, it is a play of the Shakti. So you cannot simply say body is unreal. You are the body consciousness. So it is Shakti which will explain this thing. Hazra, Narendra says, if I believed in Shakti, all would follow me. Therefore I cannot. Master, but it is not good for him to go to the extreme of denying the Divine Mother. This is extreme. He is now under Shakti's jurisdiction. So, because in difficulties, because he has not yet attained God, even a judge, while giving evidence in a case, comes down and stands in the witness box. What example Thakur has? He is a judge, but if he has to give evidence, he has to stand in the witness box. So Narendra is a sadhak of very, very high order. But in the present state of difficulties, he should have behaved in Shakti. To M. Have you seen Narendra lately? M. Not during the last few days. Master, see him and bring him here in a carriage. Because he will find difficulty to come, M should bring him in a carriage. Thakur's love for Narendra is unbounded. To Hazra, well, what is his relation to this, meaning himself? He is asking Hazra. Hazra, he expects help from you. Master. And what about Bhavanath? Would he come here so frequently if he didn't have good tendencies? What about Harish and Latu? They always meditate. What is that? Why is that? Hazra. That's right. Why should they devote all their time to meditate? Hey, Hazra does not take it rightly. It is quite a different thing for them to stay here to attend to your personal needs. That service to God itself will become more than meditation, Master. Possibly you are right. Perhaps others may take their place now. Possibly you are right, but let them meditate. There will be others to attend to me. Hazra left the room, leaving the master alone with M. So now Thakur can talk with M nicely. Master, does what I say in the state of ecstasy attract people? M. Oh yes, very much. Master, what do people think of me? Do they think anything in particular about me when they see me in that condition? So understanding, he is analyzing. M. We feel in you a wonderful synthesis of knowledge, love, and renunciation. Let me check the word in English. This synthesis word is not good. In the original, ekadhare. So, in same location, in same abode, in same body, in the same personality, they exist. Synthesis is not a good word. We feel in you. A wonderful combination, you can say, of knowledge, love, and renunciation, and on the surface, a natural spontaneity. Master has analyzed nicely nowadays. Many divine experiences have passed like huge steamboats through the depth of your inner consciousness. Still, you maintain outwardly the utter simplicity. Many cannot understand it, but a few are attracted by this state alone. So, when you are simple on the outside, people cannot understand the depth. But this state that you are simple outside and yet deep inside, that is the real attraction for those who can understand it. Master, there is a sect of Vaishnavas known as the Ghospada, who describe God as the Sahaja, the simple. Spontaneity is what they mean. They say further that a man cannot recognize the simple one unless he too is simple. So here, simpleton is not meant. Crookedness is mind, it has to be avoided. That is called the simple. And God is simple because He is one without a second. And unless the mind becomes free from crookedness, becomes simple, one cannot realize God. 2M. Have I any ego? Next question. Huh? Our time is up. We'll take it up tomorrow, on Monday now. Huh? This is very important. That ego question, we'll take it up on Monday. Om Tava Kathāmritam Tapta Jivanam Kavi Vireeditam Kalma Shapaham Shravanamangalam Shrimadatam Bhuvi Grunanti Ye Bhuridajana. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. I will just remind you, tomorrow I have a special lecture at 3 o'clock about love of God and worldly love, the difference, at 3 o'clock. Link I already sent you.